Okay, so I've gone ahead now and I've overlocked my armhole seams to the sleeve, and I'm ready to sew my sleeves. So again, you're going to put together the whole body. Doesn't matter what design you're doing. It's going to be the man's dress or this top. It's going to be joined from the wrist to the hem, and it is going to have this seam allowance pressing toward the sleeve. Okay, so you want to line those up toward the sleeve, and I need a pin for that. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2 inch seam. These will also be overlocked before I put the cuff on. And the same on the other side. So I would overlock the seam, and I'm going to show you the cuff placement. As far as the hem is concerned, I kind of just I'm not going to do the overlock. I'm going to do a clean finish, so I've pressed this in. So since this is already finished with the front placket, this is just going to turn up 1/4 and 1/4, and I'm going to edge stitch this all the way around. Okay, so as you're going around the curves, just take your time and don't get puckers. You kind of have to just ease it in with your finger as you go. Okay, so that's a little bit of a challenge, but that's the hem. Very simple sewing, but you have to take your time with it. Regarding the cuff now, so this is my back, my placket on top and the back, and my cuff is prepared like so. So I'm going to have to sew my 1/2 inch seam allowances. So I'm going to go fold this in such a way where I have a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch folded back. Now, the thing with the French cuff, the difference with the French cuff is you would have 4 of these instead of 2, and then you would sew this whole width, like one large cuff instead of 2 shorter cuffs. Or you still have 2, but you have a total of 4 pieces. And the only difference, your sewing is going to be the same. The only difference is that when it's done, it's going to look like this much extended. It's going to be doubled, and it's going to flip back to do that French cuff finish with the buttonholes. Okay, but the sewing is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare the cuff, and on this side, just like we did on the blouse. That's okay though, because I'm going to continue on. And what you're going to do is walk this, starting with the right side on the wrong side. So you're going to walk this around your sleeve opening. Okay. Now, as it turns out, my cuff is slightly smaller than my sleeve. So what we want to do is we want to create pleats on this area. You can create pleats. You can do 1 pleat, you can do 2 pleats, depending on how big your sleeve is as compared to your cuff. So you can go up to 3, you know, or you can make the pleats smaller or bigger. But you make those pleats so that they fit your cuff and that they're within the same area near the placket. You don't want to go too far over. Okay, so then that way it just drapes nicely down the back of your sleeve. And then after you've joined that, This is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. It's gonna come back up. You've already got this folded under, and then you're gonna top stitch that cuff in place like we did on the blouse, all right? Same thing with a French cuff, it's just bigger, okay? All right.